Hey, Mr.Tolly's back. I don't quite know where I left off with the holster, because sometimes you just find that groove and you keep going and going and going. Well, I did. So it's all dyed. I haven't applied a top coat yet. The carving is pretty good. The top coat will really make it look a little bit better yet. I do have a little top coat here, just because the inside I'm not going to be able to do once it's done. But at this point, I need to do perimeter stitching all the way around, and I'm going to use white as a top stitch, just because it looks cool. I need to start with this hole, which is in my welting. But that hole also needs to go all the way through the back. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. To do that, I almost have to get it all glued up. Well, down here I'm going to stitch this, just because it's got to get stitched. Burnishing is going to have to be my pain in the butt on this, because of the lining and stuff, and the welding and everything else coming together on it. It's well, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. The burnishing, once you burnish and then you bend it after you burnish, the burnishing kind of gets crappy looking. So I need to burnish that, and usually I'll do a preliminary burnish, do all my forming, and then I'll burnish everything again. This time I'm not going to do that. I've kind of went over the edges a little bit, but we'll need to do a finished burnish once it's together, because this area would just really get nasty. If I do it after it's together, it'll look nice. Same with right around here, because it's such a tight bend, which will be a little bit tighter when it's done. And then there will be a strap that goes right around the front here, which kind of sucks because it'll cover up some of the design, but it'll actually keep everything together better. So right now, since I did the wet forming, I'm kind of letting it dry for a while. I'll move on to something else. Not like I've got a lack of work here. So, stay tuned. We'll get back on the holster in a little bit. Alrighty, guys. Folks, guys and gals, ready to start stitching. I've just got a piece of thread here to hold the two sides together so they're not too cumbersome while I'm stitching. I started here. I went behind the welt. And I'm going to take this all the way around, and basically I'll come back to here and I'll bring the two pieces together, and we'll figure that one out when I get here. It's not a big deal. I've done it before, so I'm trying to do it all in one thread, because every time you start and stop, it just creates problems. So try to do it all in one. I'm going to go slow, take my time. This will take me probably a couple of hours to stitch it up, and we'll see what it looks like when it's done. The bottom, I stitched the toe. That did have to be done in a second piece, so I couldn't avoid that. Everything's hidden, so you can't really tell. You won't notice it when I get done. Anyway, we'll be back. Hey y'all, it's all stitched up. Working on burnishing and some little touch-ups. There's always a little touch-up work on a project this big, on a project requiring this much, how do I want to say it, work. So I still have to make my strap around the front here, and I need to make my hammer loop, which is basically how these holsters do their retention, is through that hammer loop. Little touch up on the die, final finish. Hopefully I'll be able to get it done this weekend-ish, maybe middle of next week. Get it shipped off. So we'll be back in a bit. Well, at this point, I have all my edges finished and sanded with 220 grit. The next step will be to well, I need to make my strap to go around here, which should probably go up right around that area. And that all helps to hold it onto the belt. It may go up just a little higher. Unfortunately, it does cover up some of the work, so maybe I'll go with a narrower strip. And I don't know. I'm thinking glue one or something like that. That might just bring it straight. Something like that. And we'll do some stamping on it and stuff and make it pretty. But I'm going to do that before my final burnish. I think. Maybe not. Anyway, that's where we're at. I need to take a break. So, we'll be back later. Then my next sanding will be with 350 grit. And that will take me down. I'll probably burnish a couple of times with 350. And then should take me down to being done. We'll be back. Well, burnishing's pretty well done. As much as I'd like to, I'm not ever going to get that to look like one piece of leather. It's just too thick, too many layers. You figure here, you have the welt plus the 2 layers that consist of the holster. And they're different. You've got the 4 ounce and you've got the 9 ounce, or the 8 ounce, 8 to 9, and the 4 to 6 for the lining. So it's not ever really going to look like a single piece of leather. We've got the first layer coat of neat's foot oil on it. And that's kind of where it's going to stand. I'm going to put a few more coats of neat's foot oil on it. There is a piece that needs to go in here. It's just a flat piece of leather that'll go in here. It'll go up, and that'll be set at 2.5 inches for the belt, so that when you draw, it kind of hooks on the belt. That's the idea. And then the strap that goes around. This isn't the one, but I still have to get that made. I'm trying to find a pattern that I like for it. So that's kind of where it's at. I need to let the oil soak in good. And I will put at least 2 more coats of oil on it, just because that's how I roll. So, we will be back. And the reason I like the oil finish on a holster like this is because there's no chance of it going to damage a gun. Some of the finishes that you can put in leather, let's see, tan coat. Well, I figure if they don't list ingredients, there probably is a good reason not to. The Resolene is what I usually use, and I know that this is like a, it's kind of like a liquid floor wax, basically, that's been watered down. And if you're putting it on your floor, it's probably a really nice finish for the outside, but the inside where your gun is touching, I do not use this. The tan coat is a little more forgiving in that respect, so, but the tan coat I only use that on an unlined holster. This is lined. It's a beautiful holster so far. I really think it's coming out nicely. So, we'll be back after station break. It's going to be tomorrow before this sets up. I'll probably come down a little later, and well, I'll be down. I'll probably put another coat of oil on it yet tonight. Tomorrow I'll probably put a couple more coats on. After thinking about it, it's not going to be this weekend that it's done. It's probably closer to next weekend. Because I don't think I've told you who this holster's for. there it is, all done. So hopefully this is what you're looking for. Nice little cross draw rig. Should work out very well. Just a thong over the trigger, or hammer, excuse me. Just a plain old thong. You know, because that's why cowboys always had fringes. To replace stuff like this. And it's just a couple of holes and it comes out here. Got a knot tied in it. Ain't nothing fancy to it. Shouldn't interfere with your belt once you get it on your belt. So, there you go. The cross draw single action holster. Now all it needs is to get broke in and used. Y'all stay safe and have a great weekend.